Hello, Mary. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Can you please introduce yourself to us?
Yes, I'm Mary Calvelli. I'm working with an Italian NGO from a long time here in Palestine. I'm working from a long time for the Italian cooperation, but also in solidarity with the Palestinian people from a long time. We work in different projects supporting the Palestinian people in this very long struggle for the freedom of Palestine in many issues. We can say that we are supporting especially the civilian population, the Palestinian population.
How long have you been here for?
Actually, I'm coming in Palestine from a long time. I have to say that I spent a lot of time of my life. In the first Intifada was the first time came here with many Italian groups that in that time, in that revolt, the people were especially impressed about what's happening in that time. Then I started to work and is around 2002 during the second Intifada.
So you came here in the 80s. How did you choose Palestine and why did you choose to come to Palestine and help Palestinians?
It's a long story, I have to say, but as you know, Italians have a long story of relationship with the Palestinian. Most of I was student, so in that time I remember very well the television when they were speaking about this issue, and the people were very pay attention about Palestine. So in that time I decided to come to see actually what were.
And what was your first impression about it when you came here in the 80s?
It was a strong impression, I have to say, because you know, a country under occupation in that time was less years than now, because now are 70 years, at that time was 30 less. But it was really, it was impressed because, you know, to see a country that we can imagine as our imagination was a very nice country, and you know, Jerusalem for the Christianity, for also religious way, in a religious way was very important for our culture, and to see this country under occupation and the population that in that time were still living under the refugee camp, that I have to say that in the time were like a concentration camp. I remember very well the Aisha camp, that it was one of the first camp I visited in that time, and it was surrounded by the defense and soldiers inside and shooting, and the revolt was in that time very strong.
You lived through the first Intifada and the second Intifada and the wars on Gaza. Tell us about your experience in these days, or in general, in tragic events in Palestine.
I remember very well the occupation during the second Intifada, that it was very strong, especially for the city of Bethlehem, but of course also in Ramallah, also in Jenin. I remember well what they did in the time. We were here actually with many people from Italy, but of course when I also went in Gaza, and I was in Gaza, I was living in Gaza, I was working with a project in Gaza, and I saw the last war, for example, and I was working during the war, the 2014 war. I was doing an emergency project. I have to say that in these last 10 years, most of the project we did with them, with the people, is in emergency, because you can imagine it's okay. During the war, you can imagine they were bombing everywhere. The people were out of the houses, so we delivery anything they need in the time. They left their houses under the bombs, so they don't have anything to live. Gaza was destroyed, so 3, 4, 5 times.
Yes.
And we try to rebuild with the people, to rebuild not in terms of the houses, but to rebuild their life, especially with the people, especially with the children, with the youth. We have also many activities actually with the culture. And we try to do exchange program, especially with the youth. The youth are the part more vulnerable in Gaza Strip, so we are helping them to meet other people. We are trying to let enter people inside Gaza to do program for this vulnerable part of the population that usually don't see anybody from the other world, we can say this.
So what work do you do in the West Bank and the Haitian refugee camp specifically?
Yeah, also here the refugee camp we have a program on culture, exchange program. IBDA Cultural Center, for example, is one of the center, the association that we are focusing from a lot of time. Also here we are trying to exchange the people. I think the culture is one of the motor of the dialogue and the possibility to understand what's happening in a country, so with the people, between the people. Citizenship activities between Italian and Palestinian.
Mary, let's talk about politics later, and let's now talk about the culture.
Yeah.
You've been here, or you've been coming to Palestine for a long time. You've had lots of Palestinian food, you visited many places in Palestine. Tell us first about your favorite food in Palestine.
Mansaf.
Oh, me too.
This is, I like so much. And the first time we're done from one family here in the camp.
You like it with the jamid and all
yeah,
this?
with the jamid. And usually when I come back in Italy, I buy jamid with me because we don't have this kind of cheese. It's something traditional here. Of course, I know maklub, I know warak dawali, I like all the Palestinian food.
Can you make it?
Spices. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah. I did, actually. I did once for
it's
Palestinian in Italy.
It's a very difficult dish to make.
I don't know. With the people here, with the family, I learned about how to do it.
Do you speak any Arabic, Mary?
Yeah, something. تعلمت هون ما درست اللغة العربية. تعلمت هون مع الناس بالشارع.
بالشارع. What else? شو بتحكي عربي؟
شو كمان؟ ما بعرف كيف حالك.
That's really good.
شي كتير.
So ننزل تحت? Let's go downstairs.
Okay.
See the place.
Okay.
يلا. So Mary, as an international volunteer from Italy, what message do you send the world about Palestine and Palestinians?
The message is that the Palestinians deserve the freedom, first of all. The Palestinians deserve to be considered as human. They need their human rights. And this is the most thing that we are trying also to give as a message to everybody when we come here and we go back in Italy and everywhere in the world.
And what do you tell internationals and foreigners who are thinking of coming to Palestine, but maybe they're afraid from stereotypes perhaps?
Actually, we are pushing the people, most of the people, to come in Palestine. We invite the people to come to Palestine to see how the Palestinians are living, how they are a normal human person. Actually, they are better than many other people in Italy, I have to say. So they are so comfortable. It's very comfortable to stay, despite the situation is very hard, very difficult, despite the occupation, of course. If we delete the occupation, we can say that Palestine is the most wonderful place in the world.
I'm curious, Mary, what's the best thing you like about Palestine?
The people. The people is the best thing. The best thing that I found here, the humanity, I have to say. And the strong way that these people has to reach their rights.
How would you like to see Palestine in the near future?
First of all, the open place, like the people when come in Palestine don't have to cross interrogation, for example, closure for in the border. That this is a very terrible thing.
Yeah.
So what I hope that and I think and we are pushing to do it is to give this message to let the people in the world to find this connection, this dialogue between, and to destroy the wall all around us in our mind and the physical wall around this country.
Yeah, I hope so. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Mary, I want to thank you, and it's a pleasure meeting you. Our show is called Shukran. I want to say shukran very much for everything.
Afwan so much.
For being in Palestine and helping Palestinians and supporting the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you for you. Shukran كتير.
Shukran.